Welcome to the Road to Red Bull Wololo Legacy September weeklies, and we've got a banger of a set between Vortix and the HuT. This is one of the finals for one of the pools which progresses to the next round tomorrow. And, well, this is a kind of a rematch, if you will, of the August monthly finals. It's Vortix versus HuT, with Vortix playing on the west side of the map in blue as the French. And on the east side of the map, his opponent today will be HuT playing as the Holy Roman Empire. The map will be Lipany. Let's just confirm that. I'm sure it is. It is indeed Lipany. And, well, a fantastic matchup to start off the set. Two very strong civilizations, the French and the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire can be very, very strong with their economy. Of course, with the prelate buffing up those villages by 40%. Gather speed is very, very strong here for the HRE. Good economy. They can actually kind of go toe-to-toe against the French in the feudal age, especially with this kind of economy. But what they tend to do, what they can shine doing, is going for that very fast castle, especially if they're able to hold off those French knights early on in the game. The French, on the other hand, may look to do some damage early with those French royal knights. And it'll be interesting to see if they opt for a second town centre, if they try and build up a bit of an eco lead and then try and push on as soon as the Holy Roman Empire gets to the Castle Age, or if they can kind of survive whilst the Holy Roman Empire in the Castle Age and then get to the Castle Age themselves with a stronger economy. They will need to try and deny those relics, because it's quite often that the Holy Roman Empire go up with the Regulus Cathedral landmark, which is the landmark which bolsters the amount of gold that they get from those relics. And we'll see a decent number of villagers coming out towards gold now, 4 of them, as is commonly done by the Holy Roman Empire to get up to that gold income they need for the feudal age and then the Castle Age shortly after that. See a nice number of sheep being brought here by the French. Sheep very important for that food income. And that will be going straight underneath that town centre for those villagers to gather. Yeah, more villagers coming, 5 of them, so it does look like it's a relatively fast castle build here. Of course, HuT might need to adapt or maybe get an outpost or two, because of course, once those knights start to come in, those can become a problem. 3 villagers on gold there for the French. Quite a typical opening. 3 villagers being pulled off across here to build that School of Cavalry landmark. There it is for Vortix. And, I mean, the French with Vortix, he is incredibly strong with the French. He plays them a lot and he seems to do incredibly well with them. It's always a joy to watch Vortix playing the French. But what we have seen, especially the early stages of Age of Empires 4, HuT, he plays a lot of HRE and he seems to enjoy them quite a lot. So we shall see how Vortix's French goes up against HuT's HRE. Now, this is a best of 3, of course, so this isn't the only game that will be featured in this video. And we'll be looking to complete the whole set and see what transpires in this game. As you can see, 2 scouts here on the field for the Holy Roman Empire. Try and counteract the 2 scouts there for the French. That's often started off by them. And we see a villager going out to berries to build a mill for that early wheelbarrow. And then subsequently, usually a knight pops out from this School of Cavalry. We shall see if that's the case. If there's any hiccups, any changes of plan, I'll keep you updated with the build. We shall see. Now, it's going to be the Ark and Chapel here, as expected by the Holy Roman Empire, going on this wood line. Let's take a look at what that buffers up, because it will be the food, the wood, and the gold as well. So this Ark and Chapel is a very, very nice spot there. It is a bit exposed here, but as a drop-off point, it's not really being used as a drop-off point as such. It's mostly being used to buffer up that gold. And that gold is in a very precarious position, as we said, rather far forward. Not ideal for the Holy Roman Empire. But it is what it is. You have to deal with these RNG issues in tournament games like this, big tournament games like this. As you can see, a lot of villages being transitioned to wood now as expected to get those production buildings. And the question is, will we see an outpost come out first, or maybe a barracks, as a scout goes towards the gold villages, starts to annoy them a little bit. And HuT actually only leaves 2 villages on gold, so he is of course going to focus on the feudal age for now, where the castle age will be a distant future to think about as he gets wheelbarrow from that mill. Oh, but HuT losing valuable HP on that scout there underneath the town centre. And there's the age up. Vortix going up to the next stage. We'll be queuing up a knight before too long, I suspect. She's actually kind of struggling on that front. It's going to be a bit of a delay there because he only had 3 villages on gold. HuT reaching the feudal age now. The scout's just being annoying there, harassing those villagers. But it's a bit close to the town centre. I mean, the Holy Roman Empire, imagine they had this gold. Really nice spot there for Vortix to be in terms of gold position. Still being harassed there somewhat. We shall see if that continues. Then we see a barracks coming out for the Holy Roman Empire. No real surprises there, to be totally honest. Kind of expecting to see that going up against the French. Okay. In the southwest now, the scouts are still being annoying them on the gold vein. as villagers come out to take the sheep. And things looking pretty calm and comfortable here 5 minutes into the game. And we do see a knight now coming out, dragging a wolf with him as well. Going to be making his way across the map. Slowly but surely. And just going out towards a... wait, what? That's a mistake there by Vortix. Vortix, he's clicked the wrong building. This could be a bit of wasted wood here. Will he notice it? Oh dear, I don't think... I mean, it certainly doesn't seem intentional. He was looking to go for that second town centre with the stone, but instead he's going to gather more food. It'll be a matter of time before he notices that, but that will be a bit of a spanner on the works in terms of his build. Was expected to look to get that second town centre. And he does almost have the wood for it, but just not going to get the stone. And it's going to be a while before he notices, perhaps. On the right side has been walled up quite nicely there for HuT, so we'll limit the mobility of those knights. 2 spearmen on that stone pile. Looks like HuT looking to get a second town centre himself. Going to be matching up against the French. And this should be an interesting turn of events. And there he notices it. Vortix realizes eventually, he transitions to get that stone, but looks like HRE should get that town centre, the second town centre, quicker, as Vortix loses his scout. This is uncharacteristic by Vortix, sloppy by his high standards, and that could become an issue. Look at the number of villagers he has on stone. He's desperate to get that stone. He's not keen on missing out on that, that's for sure. Is there prelate there as well? No, I don't believe so, but some of the villagers are buffered there. And I think those villagers will be pulled off, maybe just at 300. We shall see. He decides to actually get more for a third town centre. That'd be super greedy. I doubt that'll be the case. As a scout comes out again for Vortix. So this is very key. Like, as we can see a pro player there, he loses a scout. He replaces it immediately because the scouting information is so key. It's so hard to play Age of Empires 4 without that scouting information. As a spearman starts to take a good couple of hits on that knight. Knight gets hit by the town centre being garrisoned as well. So valuable HP lost on that knight there. A little bit more than he would have wanted. Villagers now heading forward. What is going on? Where are these villagers going? They're going for the second town centre, but it depends where. Looks like Vortix trying to deny the deer patch. It looks like spearmen are heading forward as well, 3 of them, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Knight going to head forward, but won't want to take that fight. Oh, Vortix going to lose that knight. Very cheaply. Well, he managed to get away with that. He needs to keep this knight alive and harem and safe. He needs to get... Well, if he does end up getting chivalry, which is usually quite typical, he'll be healing up that knight, but things aren't going Vortix's way. That's for sure in game number 1. HuT looking strong, is getting... What he wants to do is getting a second town centre. And now it looks like Vortix will be getting his second town centre as well. But the French tend to get it very fast. And HuT doing really well, actually, with the spearmen to fend that off. And now he's got a second town centre up and running. We're getting that deer patch. And it's pretty close to the wood and gold as well. So not in a bad spot. Well, that's a bad bit, deer pool. That's pretty far to walk there, unfortunately for him. But it is what it is. And a couple of spearmen on that wood line, always keeping villagers safe. That's the name of the game here, playing as the Holy Roman Empire against the French. See, another group of villagers being pulled. Where are these guys going? That is the question. They're going towards gold. I suspect that will be the case. They're going to transition to that castle age. Getting an outpost there. We'll be getting a couple of spears as well, just to be careful. A couple more knights are popping out here for Vortix. So HuT will need to be careful. This is actually a really nice spot. We talked about how the gold was in a bad position. Well, it's not anymore. Because the small walls here will keep those knights out. Just need to keep the spearmen on the other side of that gold lane. And this walling up is actually pretty decent there. And he's not investing in villager time there completely. This is not a bad map for HuT by any means. Especially if he walls up to woodline to the edge of the map here. This could be a very nice position for him to boom up again. And this is looking nice. He's getting an outpost here as well for vision. And for some defense. And all things considered, things looking nice here for HuT. It does lose a scout there, but spearmen are on the chase. And we'll have free access to this gold. And Vortix's ability to punish him at this stage is looking rather bleak. Now that he will have extra villagers, 37 to 36, just by 1, because of course the French town centres work faster. But the economy here for HuT will be particularly strong because he had the influence of the Ark and Chapel for quite some time. And as you can see, these gold villagers continuously being influenced here. HuT's gold income is going to be very strong. I suspect he's probably getting upgrades here. He's getting arrow slits in his outposts. And that will offer a lot of protection for the static defenses. Spearmen, again, heading that way. Decent number of knights there. A couple of weak there. And I think HuT needs to commit to a couple more spearmen. He is actually bringing a couple more spearmen now on this side. And will he start to wall this up? That is the big question. It won't need that much of a wood investment, but it would offer so much protection if he does. Knight's going to try and torch this down. The wood walls, palisade walls have been completed. Spearmen maybe going to be wrapping around, actually. We should see. There are archers on the field now for Vortix. The Vortix is certainly going to be playing a lot of feudal age. But HuT looking to get at the castle age. Would he go with the Regulus Cathedral? Or will he think about being aggressive by going with the Burgher Palace? Well, Need to see. But he's actually opting for safer walls. Going to get past it between these two wood lines and maybe to the edge of the map here. That's a nice way to wall up as well, to be fair. It's less commitment, less extension, less walking. Of course, going across the map here would offer him a little bit more map control and a couple more extra wood lines, but all that, there's not that much more to have there. As the knights try and head through, they try and attack that outpost. Going to dive it. Going to be losing a lot of the archers. This is nice play by HuT there, that's for sure. Losing the archers there is very painful. Emergency repairs comes out, and this was a lost cause for Vortix. He lost a lot there. Losing the archers pretty painful, because that's what counters the spearmen. Now the spearmen can be pretty safe there. Will we see HuT looking to get some stables up? We shall see, because it looks like it's going to the next stage. With the Regnus Cathedral, now it's important to take a look at the relics. Doesn't really have too many in his grasp easily. There's one here on the west side, the north side, and one on the west side. Two there. That's pretty easy pickings. This one could be gatherable, but it's pretty precarious. Has to kind of go all the way around this just to access it. And there's quite a few knights there, so we'll need the military on the field to be able to do that. As the knights wrap around on the west side, looking to get some value, looking to protect those relic positions. So this is nice by Vortix to try and deny these relics. But will we see the spearmen head that way? We can see a scout there looking to get some vision on the field to see what's going on there. As we do see a couple of spearmen here clumping up on those berry patches, looking to defend that position. As we see more stables, two stables there on the field, looking to get some knights on the field. Castle Age knights will be beating those French knights, but we shall see how far away Vortix is away from the Castle Age. He's not too far away from himself, and partly because of the villager count. 54 is looking decent for him. Villager count will be building a stronger eco, which should translate into a stronger army as time goes on. Spearmen going to be keeping an eye on these berry villagers. The berry villagers are pretty exposed though, and that's a bit of a misplay somewhat, but there's only one knight there, thankfully for HuT. But he'll want to get the spearmen up. Well, they're chasing these knights. These knights are diving there, trying to get some value here. And they will be looking to get some damage. They pick off one villager. And that'll be an issue for HuT. He won't want to lose too many more. The knight will go down. One villager does go down. That knight goes down. And I think now HuT taking good trade here. Gets one knight there eventually. And it's going to try and trap these knights if he can and get some value, as we can hear those relics being picked up. Now that was an issue. No knights there on that left side, keeping that relic safe, I'm afraid, for Vortix. He dived in. Lost a knight, got a couple of villager kills, so not too bad overall, all things considered. And he might be trapped here. If Vortix runs into the trap, I'm sure he knows the palisades are there. He's going to wrap around the woodline on this side instead. Try and head into some safety. There are plenty of villagers on gold, that's not being denied. There is arrow slits in here as well with two spearmen garrisoned in. The villagers are going to be fighting and blocking, I think. And I think he's quite happy to take the fight. He blocks them out. I suspect HuT must have textiles. He doesn't even have textiles. The balls on this man. And they're nice to wrap around, get a good charge attack. Villager's not moving anywhere. I think HuT takes a trade here. There is the castle age though for Vortix, and loses a lot of villagers there, and they manage to run away from those spears. It's a bit painful there. Does have a couple of knights there looking to try and chase those knights down, but does lose a monk there. A couple of archers wrapping around on that relic eventually. Where are these villagers going forward for? He's trying to get some outposts up. He's trying to get the boar. That's in a very ballsy position to grab the boar, especially with the opponent in the castle age. We shall see if he manages it. We don't see any relics being brought in just yet. Well, actually, no, we see one there in the outpost in a nice position. This has outposts, don't forget, so this will restart to bolster up. We see a Wololo go off there. It won't work, really. Or actually, it might work. Oh, there's a way up here. There's a way up here. I didn't notice that. The knights get a charge attack, and the knights of Vortix should be focusing on the monks, but they're not, because these ones will be coming in there. Might lose their lives to the spearmen though. Might be overall nothing that HuT can really do about that. Does lose the monk, but the relic comes closer to his base. And as we see both players now in the castle age, with Vortix with a decent uptime there, challenging for those relics with the two town centres now. As we see him go up with the Royal Institute, looking to pile on the pressure in the castle age. The Royal Institute, fantastic landmark, makes the technologies 30% cheaper, and it ignores age requirements. It's very strong there for the French. As we see HuT bring his military back home with the knights and the spears. Berry patch will be taken out very, very soon, and we see here another relic being deposited. But is it for the HRE? That is the question. Yep, it is for the HRE indeed, and it gets a monastery up as well, so he wants to get those prelates out there quick and fast time. And trouble for him though, HuT, is that there's quite a few knights here, and these are veteran royal knights with a couple of archers in behind. I feel like HuT just needs a couple more knights there in the mix, but not really being able to produce as fast as the French. And now the farming transition comes in. Look at this Ark and Chapel still working wonders. The villagers on wood, villagers on gold, and now the farming economy. And this is going to be fantastic for that food economy. the HRE farming economy up and running, and that's going to be building that food count very, very nicely. That'll work well to fund all of these knights and spearmen, which are currently being healed by this prelate. Villagers being pulled out here on the north, going for that deer patch. Prelate coming out as well. Pocket eco is being used here by HuT. Maybe need to get some outposts there. Needs to be careful about not losing that position, but he's spending everything he's got. Nothing in the bank. He takes a good engagement here. And you feel that full knights here, even for HuT, will be worth it here. Will work quite nicely. He's getting spearmen into the mix, and that prelate will be picking up that relic and bringing that back home. And now Vortix is having to head back home. And I mean, HuT could technically push there, but he decides not to. He wants to play game a bit slower, hide out in the stealth forest, heal up a little bit. He's got that relic, he's bringing that relic back home. He's quite happy with his spoils and that little skirmish there. And now he's going to be heading towards that right side. Seems just going to hide out there for a little bit. Bit of an awkward position though, have to be said. Forestry coming in as well for HuT, getting the upgrades. Veterancy for the spears coming in now. And the outpost there for Vortix does go up there, is protecting that boar patch. That boar patch is, well, the boar carcass rather, it's almost taken. Walls up here on the left side for HuT, offering some protection there. We hear another relic being picked up by a monk there for the Holy Roman Empire. Quite a few relics here, 3 already in the bag, and 1 is on his way back home. That would be 4 relics, that'd be a lot of gold per minute. Knights might engage here. 1 knight is being sent by Vortix just for some scouting information. He'll see what's up. Go through the stealth forest. Nice will charge. Maybe get a good charge attack. Or get a decent charge attack. Decent amount of HP taken off. The knight will live to tell the tale. He's got the scouting information. I think now HuT just leaves 2 knights to chase after. Left side is Sacred Site being taken by Vortix. HuT will want to try and pressure that if he can. Now he takes a fight here on that boar carcass. You get the feeling that HuT should really pressure this. Does have a decent army behind this. Should be able to take out the outpost pretty quickly. No arrow slits engagement. No arrow slits emplacements rather. A crossbows, arbaletier rather, being added by Vortix. And that's a nice move. Arbaletier and knights should do decently against the knights and spears. But we'll see. The knight numbers are looking decent there for Vortix. HuT having to retract. Go back here and fight another day. Doesn't want to take the fight just yet. 2 prelates are there. Gets a good attack on that knight. 1 knight will go down. The Arbaletier doing so much damage on both the knights and the spears, and HuT has to head back home here. Going to be able to bolster up his defences and get more units onto the field. Has a decent number there. Starting to build up his numbers, but needs more. Floating quite a bit of gold here. HuT needs those upgrades as well. Let's just see what he's got. Doesn't have many in the way. Doesn't have the Castle Age ones just yet. Whereas Vortix does, and that's the big difference so far. HuT doesn't have the blacksmith upgrades he needs, whereas Vortix appears to. He's got that second town centre running, so the village count should be pretty nice and booming here for Vortix. 93 versus 70. That's the French power they have with their town centre. A couple of idle villages there, though. It's going to get a decent amount of stone villagers to get that stone for a keep, you suspect. Sacred Sites in a very awkward position there for HuT. 2 Sacred Sites on the left side, which is very much in the control of Vortix, and he's building a siege workshop forward. Starting to build up and mass up his army here, so it's not ideal those 2 Sacred Sites being on the left side for HuT. But we're going to be about to see a massive engagement here, and you get the feeling that Vortix has a better army, but there is an outpost there with the relic inside, and this is looking a bit ropey there for HuT. He's going to head in, but there are Arbaletier there. Charge attack gets off. The knights head in. Will there be enough knights there? The knights going to wrap around on the Arbaletier, trying to kill as many Arbaletier as they can. You just get the feeling that every hit that the Arbaletier do, that's a big problem. The spears aren't able to get too close to the knights, but he's still forcing this back though. Vortix not able to get a decent number of hits there, as he would like. But knight numbers are starting to dwindle here. HuT losing a lot. Get the feeling he shouldn't be pushing here, but he is pushing because of the number of the prelates. Let's not underestimate the value of the prelates, but look at the number of knights. The knights are dwindling. Spears are heading in. You get the feeling that HuT doesn't mind losing too many of the spears at this point, but he needs more knights. Takes down the outpost. Wants to take down the static position. Now he heads back. Needs more army. He needs something against the Arbaletier there. Might be in the form of horsemen. Horseman switch would work quite nicely, but he's sticking with the spearmen and knights and the prelates. He's massing up a lot of prelates here, guys. This could be the big difference. It is mass prelates here for HuT. That is the play. That's what he wants to try and win this game with. And that could be the big difference here. Look at the number of prelates coming in. Arbaletier Doing good work here against the Knights, though. Knights do get the charge attack, but will it be enough? Prelates are playing catch-up. Couple of Spearmen in behind as well, trying to play catch-up. Get the feeling the numbers here looking good here for HuT. He needs to charge this down. He needs to whittle down the number of Arbaletiers, and there aren't as many as they were. Looks like the charge attacks did get off on the Arbaletier, and now Vortix is struggling. He doesn't have the Arbaletier mass he once had, and now the Knights are starting to overrun. The Knights for HuT will almost engage. He pulls them back. He wants the Spearmen to try and engage first, and if those Spearmen engage with those Knights, that will be game over for Vortix, because a heck of a lot of Spearmen there can do a lot of damage. Let's just see the upgrades there for HuT. Have they come in from the Blacksmith? He's still missing the Castle Age upgrades though, but does have a massive number of units. The trouble is, they're not fully upgraded as he would like, and there we see it keeping a very nice spot there. This could become a problem for HuT, that is for sure. That's in a very strategic position for Vortix. He's spending wood, he's getting a lot of production buildings, archery ranges. It feels like he's going to go for Arbaletier, and Arbaletier, full Arbaletier will work here for Vortix actually. It will take care of the Knights, it will take care of the Spearmen, and HuT might need another plan here. He might need a plan B. As it goes for the eco, we should be able to do some damage here. Prelates are healing up as they can. The Knights heading in, but the Knights here for HuT might get sandwiched here. He might be caught out of position. The army not in a great spot here. He's diving right in. He's going to take a lot of eco here. A lot of villages do go down, and that will be strong here for HuT. Vortix did have the eco lead though. The Spears need to dish out the damage before the Arbaletier do. The Spears are trying to edge closer to the Knights, but good micro here for Vortix. He's pulling back and forth with those Knights. And the Knights do get a charge attack there. Question is, will he be able to survive? Alright, now Vortix has really started to up his game. He's got lots of military on the field. He's really produced. Now HuT has to head back. He lost a lot there, but he's starting to recover some mobility. He's going to decap the sacred sites. That's actually bought him a lot of time. Decapping the sacred sites will really help his position. Look how much gold is floating here. And food. It might be the case that HuT is edging towards the Imperial Age rather. But would he be able to make it in times? The Knights do get a charge attack on the Prelates, but they heal up each other. HuT needs to survive here. He needs to put his army back, get to the Imperial Age, you feel. Arbaletier mass starting to get quite scary there for HuT though. Let's be careful not to take a bad engagement. And that might be that engagement. Arbaletier being microed there, one-shotting those Knights. That's not a good look there for HuT. He's engaging here, HuT. He's diving in. And the Prelates are heading back home though as well. They're not actually engaging in the fight. It was rather surprising. Prelates should be brought into the fight. Maybe a bit of a miss micro there by standards, but now the Spears do get a good engagement. Quite a few numbers do go down for the Knights for Vortix. Arbaletier and mass is starting to dwindle again. The Knight charge attacks are doing good work. And here comes HuT with his force full forwards. And don't forget the Prelates are involved. They'll be healing up the units. Spearmen. The mainstay army there for HuT though doesn't really have much Knights left. He's having to head back with what he has. Vortix losing a lot of Knights here. He doesn't have to take this fight. Why is he engaging with the Knights? I'm not entirely sure. The Arbaletier would be able to sweep that up. And he pulls the Knights back in the end. He needs to take care of those Spears, but look what we have in behind of all of this aggression. For HuT, he is looking to go to the Imperial Age with the Palace of Swabia, of course, and that village difference, wherever there was, where there isn't any anymore, those attacks did fantastic for HuT. Now HuT playing this fantastically. He's going to get to the Imperial Age. He played with his army so well, but we do see two trebuchets trying to put some effort here on the front lines, but we will see a trebuchet coming up from the two siege workshops for HuT, piling on the pressure. There is the Imperial Age. The village count will start to bolster here for HuT, but more importantly, the upgrades coming in. Going to see the blacksmith upgrades coming in. We see fitted leatherwork coming in finally now. And these units are being healed up very nicely. Now, outpost does go down. That relic will need to be garrisoned elsewhere, as two more trebuchets are pulled out there. Two trebuchets there are on the field though for Vortix, and now with HuT up to the next stage, it does feel like Vortix is on a timer, because HuT can upgrade his units once he does. He'll be looking very strong, as you can see, looking to get elite knights, and going straight for elite knights is a nice play here for HuT. He's going to get some raiding action here on the west farms, and that's the problem for Vortix. Was open here, a lot of villagers, few villagers going down, and each villager that's killed there for Vortix is a problem, because HuT is going to replace his villagers very fast, and not only replace, look at this. Look at this, guys. Let's take a look at the village count. It's going to be really bolstering for HuT. 106 versus 99. Needs to refresh his wood line, though. Not ideal there for him. Now, Spearmen do head towards to try and take out the trebuchet, Arbaletier behind, and the pressure of the keep. Spearman will be a nice trade there for the trebuchet. No problem at all. And 3 trebuchets for HuT will be working on that keep. And now with keeps needing stone to be repaired, Vortix will struggle as the arbitrary push forward, and they do push the army back. You get the feeling mangonels are needed here. We do see 2 mangonels queued up in that siege workshop. These could pop out at exactly the right time. Maybe those trebuchets should survive. I think the spearmen need to just hold on here as long as they can for those mangonels to pop out. The spearmen are going to head forward. He won't mind losing them too much as the forward base for Vortix is being taken out. Archer Rangers do start to demise, get taken apart by those 3 trebuchets. Mangonel unpacks and starts to attack as well, but the arbitrator being microed there very nicely for Vortix as he heads towards his primary base, heads back home. He needs to regroup. Night raids still happening on the left side, not ideal for Vortix. Let's take a quick stock check of village accounts. 110 for HuT, 105 for Vortix. Both players still producing those villagers. We see the arbitrator still pushing this army back, a bit of back and forth, but get the feeling that HuT is really stalling the game out for as long as he can, because he knows he's got the Palace of Swabi, he's got a win condition in terms of the economy being stronger. Now he's going to head forward with his 2 mangonels and trebuchets, slowly take out the production buildings and make a push from there. You get the feeling that a full horseman switch here though would be quite nice here for HuT, because Vortix doesn't really have any other units. It's full arbitrary, and the problem for Vortix really doesn't really have that many in the way of production buildings. Has a school of cavalry and not much else. Everything was far forward and everything was taken out. No keep influencing those production buildings either, and now HuT is looking strong. He's got a decent number of relics. Do we see a switch here? We see exactly that. Horseman switch coming up. Veterancy on... These guys are have veterancy. They don't have the elite upgrade, but these veteran horsemen will do absolutely fine against Castle Age units. Don't forget, Vortix is stuck in the Castle Age. No real way for him to get to the Imperial Age anytime soon. HuT now doing fantastic well. These elite knights do still get taken and countered pretty well by this massive arbitraire. You get the feeling that HuT is stockpiling these horsemen. Once they start to add to the fight, that could become a problem. Looks like he's stonewalling up on this left side as well. HuT smells he's got a win condition here. He's being aggressive. He's being aggressive on the front, stonewalling and keeping his base nice and secure whilst he has the map control. As the spearmen head forward with the prelates, on with the arbitraires. Those prelates are healing up those spearmen, and they're heading back. Nice, couple of knights there for Vortix trying to do some damage, but they get picked apart from the horsemen and the spearmen. But the good thing for Vortix, he has that scouting vision now. He'll see the horsemen. He'll need spears of his own. But when the spears come out for the French, that's usually a worrying sign. They don't tend to want to do that. Here, the mangonels, they do get some good damage against the arbitraire. Spearmen being brought back. Numbers are staying alive there. Another mangonel shot there, taking out a lot of arbitraire. As you can see, they're lying dead on the ground. Trebuchets, again, taking down the production buildings. Trouble Vortix, he's constantly being pressured, but he's putting his production buildings on the front lines, and that's not really where he wants them, because they're at big risk here. Now the horsemen are starting to build in to the fight, and these are elite horsemen against the arbitraire, the direct counter unit. Now HuT looking strong here in this game number 1 of this best of 3. The trebuchets moving forward with the mangonels. Feels like this is an army that Vortix can't really push here, and he's struggling to hold on. Mangonels do get another attack, and it looks like it actually maybe went on the building rather than the arbitraire. Spearmen and horsemen mass starting to head forward, and the trebuchets taking out the production building. Horsemen trying to actually outmaneuver HuT's army there, trying to snipe the trebuchets, but they won't get a good hit there. The spearmen are on hand. He might... No, he's not going to take anything there. Might... No, he's not even going to... Maybe the mangonel, but nothing more. And that was... Okay, it was a decent trade there for Vortix overall considered. It will keep his arbitraire alive for a bit longer, but you get the feeling these trebuchets in behind are nicely protected. The siege push is real, and that mill got destroyed. He's actually trying to repair it, or build another rather. Trying to keep those farms alive, but the horsemen are diving in now, and you get the feeling the army is overwhelming here. 81 military on the field for HuT, 31 for Vortix. Vortix trying to hold on here. He doesn't want to give up just yet. Spearmen here are raiding as well. That's going to become a very difficult task to deal with. No real units there in that position. All the arbitraire are on the front line, trying to hold on for his dear life. The French being overpowered here by the Holy Roman Empire, played by HuT. And now HuT is trying to keep his trebuchets alive. He might lose... No, I don't think he will even lose one. Horseman there for the French, trying to snipe another trebuchet. Trebuchets still stay alive. 3 of them. And there is the GG. Vortix taps out in game number 1. HuT takes the victory, and he's going to look to build on this set. Try and get another victory to seal the deal. But Vortix will have something to say with that. Will Vortix be able to level the series? Alrighty, welcome to game number 2 between Vortix and HuT. Vortix will want a reply to his earlier loss there, and Vortix is playing on the west side of the map, in blue, as the Delhi Sultanate. The map being high view, and across that view, we've got HuT playing in red as the Rus. Should be a very interesting matchup. Delhi Sultanate often play an extended feudal age. The Rus are no joke in the feudal age themselves, obviously having access to the early knights and can often have an incredibly strong wood economy, but also look to get that boar on the middle of the map. But with the Delhi, they'll be looking to access those sacred sites, should have one safely in his grasp in the corner of the map, which is relatively close to his initial base. And he will be looking to contest those middle sacred sites and the one... Well, this is not very contestable, to be honest. It's a bit tricky to get hold of that, but it can happen in the middle of the game or in the end of the game. But we'll see the boars being very key and important here. This ball right near that central sacred site. So this could be an important position for Delhi, played by Vortix, to actually try and control. There is a ball on the right side of the map here, which is actually closer to the Delhi as well. So all things considered, not a bad spawn here for Vortix. HuT kind of not getting the rub of the green there. If he can try and access this ball first, though, this could actually work in the favor of HuT. Actually, I think this is actually a decent place for HuT, because maybe HuT can go for a second town center on the ball and the gold and the sacred site. I mean, even if he doesn't go for a second town center, he'll certainly get a wooden fortress. And of course, the wooden fortress can be done pretty early there for the Rus. And I'd be looking to I expect HuT to do that. We shall see what he decides to do. He's getting the early wheelbarrow as expected. We're playing that little mini game between the Rus and whatever civilization they're up against, because of course it's going to be the bounty, isn't it, that we're after. Going for getting a couple of sheep back home, getting wheelbarrow as well. Does have 3 scouts on the field, has a couple of wolves there, trying to be careful not to de-aggro them. Bringing those wolves back to the main town centre. And he's getting a decent number of wolves here, has to be said. It's actually a nice play by HuT. Scouts the centre sacred site. He sees the boar, he's probably licking his lips here, thinking, town centre time. Could be an option. We shall see. Let's take a look at the bounty. Already 160, so looking decent here. We'll be having enough gold to get to the next stage, that's for sure, especially with these wolves being killed. So looking very comfortable here for HuT in the early stages of this game. Let's take a look at Delhi Sultan. Of course, they're queuing up all the upgrades that they can get their hands on. Efficient production, a very nice upgrade. Allows scholars to garrison inside military buildings, boosting their production speed by 100%. As we see him now transition to gold. Scouts are being annoying on the gold vein though. Efficient production now is in, and we could potentially see the Tower of Victory. I suspect not. I don't really necessarily see Vortix doing off-meta kind of strategies, but it would be pretty cool to see if he decides to do something like that. I suspect it will be the Dome of the Faith, most likely. We shall see what he decides to do. Almost there anyway. As we see Golden Gate being produced or built by HuT, as the Rus with 4 villagers gets another wolf there for the kill. And you can see Bounty looking very nice there. About to unlock that 250 tier 2, which will increase the villager food harvest rate by 10%, and also enable the hunting cabins to generate gold a little bit quicker. Getting wooden fortress on that wood line as well. That'll bolster the wood count by 20%. Looks like these scouts are looking on the left side. Look, just see where that sacred site is. It spots it, gets good damage against the opponent's scout there. Vortix having to track home with his scout there. Going up with the Dome of the Faith, as expected with the Delhi Sultanate, going with 4 villagers. We'll be up to the next stage a little bit slower than the Rus, which is often expected. But the thing is, a HuT going for the wooden fortress there, back at home, means he's not going to be able to afford that wooden fortress on the forward ball position for quite some time. So we shall see how he plays this one out, whether he decides to get that second wooden fortress out in the open. He should be able to afford it potentially by the time he gets up. We shall see. Does have a decent number of villagers on that wood, 9 of them. Now, the wood count will be starting to rise up, especially with the wooden fortress influence. Going towards gold, though, so it probably won't be. Interestingly, it's going towards gold, maybe looking to get a fast castle, potentially, or maybe some early knights, I suspect. Maybe an earlier knight or 2, we shall see, but that does have 70 gold in the bank, not quite enough to afford a knight off the bat. So that probably explains why he's going for the gold. We shall see. Does have enough for another wooden fortress. Will we head forward with 8 villagers soon or not? We shall see. Opting for a stable first. Let's get some map presence. As we see a couple of scouts there. 3 scouts going to harass the villagers on gold there. That's going to be a problem for Vortix. Going to need to head back with some of those villagers. Or it needs a response there, because those villagers will go down. They're not brought back, and we'll be bringing that villager back now. And trouble for Vortix is he has the Dome of the Faith, but doesn't have all that much gold to actually produce scholars with. Has 130 in the bank. So we'll be able to produce 1, but not more. As a scouts now try and torch down that mining camp. Will we see HuT opt for a second town centre? There's actually every chance of that. It's got 1 ticket. getting 300 wood. I think it will be a second town centre, this position. That'd be a very nice spot. We'll see if that's the case. As we see a blacksmith being placed down with a barracks there as well. 2 more villagers going towards that gold vein. Scouts getting a bit too close to that town centre for comfort. And the barracks does come up now for Vortix. Wants to get those units pumping out. 6 minutes into the game. We'll be cautious about the stable units, and we see those early knights coming out for the roost now. Villagers being sent forward, 8 of them. And I suspect it will be a town centre. He's got plenty of wood to do so. We shall see. 3 scouts there with the early knight pushing those scouts away. So Vortix won't have vision on this. I suspect he will know it's happening. He'll be able to see it through, even in the fog of war. Villagers, are they going to drop down? They're going to take down the boar first. Where will he place the town centre? That is the question. The scout bringing the boar back into the stealth forest area. Will we see a loss of a villager? The villager does get pulled away. Oh, he does lose a villager there, HuT. It's uncharacteristic for him, especially with the number of knights he has there. Loses a villager, but does get that 75 gold as expected for that war kill, and does have the town centre very nicely positioned on that gold vein stone sacred site. Oh, this is a very, very nice town centre for the roost. Sends another villager there. Wants 8 there on that boar. Wants to saturate it, maximize it. I mean, he could potentially get more villagers, actually, to be fair. Doesn't need 8 in particular. You can get more villagers on the boar. Actually, no, I think 8 is the maximum you can get on the boar, actually. As far as more. Double archery range coming out. Stable double archery range. That typical feudal age pressure. But with the second town centre behind this, it's going to look strong for HuT. And I think the roost don't mind an extended feudal age here, you feel. There's that second town centre now, and the Delhi Sultanate need to look strong here. They do have the eco upgrades for free, as you can see, double broadaxe coming in. It will take a bit of time there, 3 minutes, holy moly. It's because he doesn't have all that many scholars, just 2 so far in that mask, and it's partly because of the delay on the gold there that was caused by the roost scouts. And as you can see, Spearman being brought out on the left side will actually be a nice spot here, because it keeps the berries safe, keeps the sacred site safe. Potentially could have kept the relic safe there, but shouldn't be too worried about that relic anyway. It's firmly in his corner. The village count will start to build up here for the roost. 29 versus 26. As we see the sacred site being activated on the left now. Scout goes down there for Vortix. Not ideal. Second game in a row he loses a scout. The early knights trying to get some damage there. Archery range is not going to help him too much against the knights here for sure. And the double archery range production here starting to build up their military numbers, and the economy with the 2 town centres is going to start to build up. Another 2 archery ranges forward. He's going to go very heavy on the feudal age, you feel here. But there's a sacred site on the left side. Has almost been captured. Now with the economy full flowing, we see those archery ranges almost being built. We do see walls coming up here for Vortix, playing relatively defensive at this stage. It kind of has to. The aggression for the roost can be very, very strong. But things will only get worse here for the Delhi Sultanate as the roost build up on that economy, and you get the feeling that things are heading in a nice direction for HuT. He's probably feeling confident around about now. Especially he's got 2 town centres running, and that will start to really bolster his economy, and that will translate into army. As you see, the archer numbers starting to build up, but will we see Vortix try a castle age perhaps? He does have 1 sacred site activated, so gold trickle will be nice from that. 150 gold per minute because of that. The villagers on gold. But he's spending a lot on military. He is walling up extensively, spending a lot of wood here. Hasn't been able to get the walls up just yet. Scholar coming out here. Where is he off to? That's the question. Another stable going down. Yep, HuT is committing heavy to the feudal age, and there's going to be an issue for the Delhi Sultan if he's not aware of this. I don't think he has all that much vision. He's getting a ram. He doesn't really have that much in the way of military to back it up, and that looks a bit tricky there for the Delhi played by Vortix at the moment. Especially with the rate of production here coming out for HuT. Let's take a look at the counts. 22 military for HuT, 28 for Vortix. Does have more on the field for Vortix. But look at that eco lead. Really starting to build up here. Looks like the army's heading out on the west side there for HuT. He's looking to decamp the sacred site. And it looks like he's, or maybe not actually, he's going through the west side. He's going to go towards the gold. This is actually a really nice position of attack. Not many berries left. But this denies 2 gold veins. This is a key issue, guys. Vortix has both gold veins there on the left side, and now being denied out of gold. Sure, you don't really need gold that much in the feudal age, but it stops him getting into the castle age anytime soon. As the army heads forward for Vortix on the right side, though, HuT's army is going to be caught out of position, but a lot of them are cavalry units, so they should be able to hold or head back pretty quickly. Full of archers there, and this is going to be looking strong here for the Delhi Sultan, at least for the time being. And the Rams are heading forward, but with the number of knights there heading towards those Rams, that could do some damage. There are quite a few spears there. Looks like archers are what he needs here. The trouble for Vortix is that really, HuT, all he needs is a massive archers. The archers take care of everything. The villagers will take care of the Rams if they need to, but the spears, if they get taken out, that'll be a big problem here for Vortix. This is a big push. But Vortix doesn't have the tools he needs here. The spearmen are pretty redundant here. Because there aren't as many knights as he perhaps thought there could be. And now if you're feeling like your HuT, you're probably feeling quite confident here. That push is not going to be coming in soon and doesn't have the numbers here. And the problem for Vortix is his army is just completely countered by archers. And HuT's going to solidify the position by getting another wooden fortress there. And I think HuT is looking good for the win here. He's looking strong, especially with the eco starts to build into army. Look at the number of archers. He's starting to double down. He's producing archers, that's for sure. Yeah. He's trickling them in from the back and then producing them from the front. And here's the big engagement we expected. The archers keeping in the line formation. This is a fantastic play here, guys. If you're learning Age of Empires 4, that's what you want to do in terms of your army formation. Keep them in line formation if you can when you're attacking, so you get the most amount of damage. The Ram heads back home. Can't do much more damage, and now he's fighting underneath the town centre. The villagers garrison inside here. That'll do even more damage, and he does start to garrison. And now this is a problem for Vortix. The archer mass starting to build up for HuT. There's not enough army here for Vortix. You get the feeling Vortix might have to call it here. This push is a failed one, and behind this push, HuT will be able to push this back. And not only push this back, will push it back convincingly. The archers there now starting to, again, focus fire on the scholars. The scholars going down means that Vortix can't heal up his army, and the archers themselves are enough to deal with this. But he's got knights in there as well. Vortix is going to be under so much pressure now with the spears almost gone, and this is an issue. HuT still producing. Look at the micro there for HuT, peeling away the knights, getting the charge attack in and out. Now the archers online formation for HuT. He's playing on fire here today. He is looking on a mission to qualify for the Red Bull Wololo Legacy main event, and with a performance like this, who would begrudge him of that? He takes the set 2-1. Sorry, 2-0 actually. That's how convincing the performance was. Vortix taps out, and this means HuT progresses to the next round, winning the set 2-0, an emphatic victory on Highview, the Rus versus Delhi Sultanate. Hope you guys enjoyed this casted game, and if you did, do give the video a thumbs up. Take care, and see you next time.